coming to you live from a Florida apartment. It kind of looks like I know you're in like a very nice condo, but it looks like you're in like an apartment bedroom right now.
Out of respect for my parents, this is a Florida home. It's not a condo. Put some
Okay.
respect on it, and this is my designated bedroom at set Florida household.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Obviously, no disrespect meant to the great Lutheran Mary Rose. Also, like power move by you and by them and by the Elliott family in general to make sure it's known two homes. Like I did not know you were a two home family. That's big time. You got it like that.
I mean, this is only my second trip here. Not actually a big fan of it. I feel like this household is very run from the grindish. Like it gets cold and you just run to Florida.
Hmm. Hmm. Do they
Like
go like?
I run from the grind in so many things that one thing I don't want to run from the grind of is weather. Like if me and Mother Nature can go straight up, I want smoke.
Do they go stay there for extended time? Like, does Luther just go for the winter?
Yeah, at the first set of brisk weather in Michigan, the Elliott parents are heading to Florida.
That's incredible. I didn't know this was a thing. Impeccable though. All right. Well, I'm sorry I disrespected your home. That's on me. But let's talk Michigan State basketball.
Okay,
We're
all
a
right.
little rusty. Give us some credit, okay? We had like 5 days off, and then the first thing we got hit with that we had to hit record on was a rape charge. So it's been rough on everyone, but also on the two of us as content creators in college basketball. We're shaking the rust off with Indiana State against Michigan State. Indiana State's a legitimately very good basketball team. For those of you that like numbers, if you're a math podcast listener out there, Indiana State is 9 spots higher on KenPom than James Madison is. A lot of people consider James Madison to be the best mid-major in the country. That's the thing. James Madison is like ranked in the top 25. They're 12-0. They have the nation's active longest win streak. Well, Indiana State's 11-1. They just lost to Alabama. They did lose to Alabama by 22 points at Alabama. Alabama is the best offense in the country, so take of that what you will. But this Indiana State team is tough. They're good. They don't have a marquee resume win yet, Cart. They haven't beaten a top 100 team. They haven't played a top 100 team since that Alabama game. Are you concerned for your Michigan State Spartans coming into this game?
I'm very much concerned coming to this game. This is one that I've actually had circled for a very long time, just because Indiana State they have some guys. They got some dudes. Robbie Avila is one of my favorite players in the country. He actually, based on his play, and this is a serious thing, I bought goggles. I bought sports goggles. So like in my men's league games and my hoop experiences now, I will be hooping in goggles because that kid's been special and he wears goggles. But he's not just them. He's not just him either. They got guys on this team that can shoot the ball. This team can really score. And the way Michigan State has been playing defense lately, I feel good about that. But at the same time, we have seen what happens when Michigan State goes up against a team that is, I guess, quote unquote, firing on all cylinders offensively. And this Indiana State team is a team that fires on all cylinders offensively. So it's a after Christmas game before New Year's. I don't know how long you can use the holiday excuse for like rust or look aheads or things like that. But this is a very dangerous game for Michigan State.
I feel like I left out a key element of where this team is at right now. Sorry, I'm skating from tragedy to tragedy here. Jeremy Fears obviously will not play in this game. Jeremy Fears was a shooting victim. He was shot in was it the leg over his return home Christmas. We did not do a reactionary video to that, not because any specific reason. Honestly, it was Christmas. We had agreed prior to that news coming out that we were going to take basically a week off. This is the first time we've gotten behind a microphone since that incident. I should say, like, horrible. I mean, horrifying. I'm sure we both have long form thoughts on this in a variety of ways. I'm just very happy that Jeremy Fears is okay. First of all, it sounds like he's going to make a full recovery, which is fantastic. And I think for your and I's sake of time, mostly more than anything at this point, and we kind of missed the window to have the more serious conversation about it, we will just limit this. You can say your piece, but we'll limit most of this conversation about Fears into like, where's Michigan State basketball at? Um, It sucks. It sucks because I thought Fears was really coming along. He had a couple big assist games recently. He was playing an integral role on this team. Like backup point guard on a team with this backcourt is not a small role by any means. He had 10 assists in their last game out in 21 minutes. Fears is still very much the future of this program as a whole, let alone at the point guard spot. If he makes a full recovery, which we all hope happens, things are going to be great. For this year, that's a big loss. What do you think is going to happen without Fears in this game? And does this mean more AJ Hoggard? Does it mean more Trey Holloman? Does it mean Tyson Walker at the point? What do you think happens from a basketball standpoint?
So first and foremost, just extremely ecstatic that Jeremy Fears is alive. There were some things that came out about that shooting as far as like, the bullet missing certain arteries in the leg that could have caused that bleeding. Like it could have been so much of a more serious situation than it is right now. So just glad that he's going to be okay. I heard he's going to be back on campus with the team, actually for this game, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I might have to double check myself on that, but just good that he's, he is okay and still here with us. But now to shift more sort of basketball, I think there's a couple different ways you could go about this, and I've actually gone back and forth on it. Our good friend DK Spartan Hoops, David Klein, actually wrote a pretty nice article on Spartan Hoops about what it looks like without Jeremy Fears, and I do agree, and I'm going to harp on some of the points that he brought up. I think that obviously AJ himself, I think, is going to have to just play one more, and two, I think he's just going to have to play more consistent and better. I think he's been very consistent as of late, but it was always like if AJ isn't consistent, when do we start maybe giving Fears a couple more minutes here and there? Now Fears is not going to be in the fold for the rest of the season. But the option that I kind of gravitate towards is on ball Tyson. Like I just think that maybe doing a little bit more of the ball in Tyson's hands, running the point guard role. I think he's played point guard in his life, more so with Northeastern. I think that he can, honestly, any situation that has the ball in his hands, in my eyes, is good. And the backup options that I would have to that are, what does on ball Trey Holloman look like? That scares me a little bit more. And also the one that's been brought up for years and years and years and years and years and years. Don't we have a somewhat guy on our team who wants some more on-ball reps?
Hey, serious answers only, Carter. Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Maybe some Jaden Akins point guard minutes. Wouldn't hate it. Would not hate it. So I think there's some different ways that Coach Izzo and the Spartans can go about this. I think the loss of Fears is going to hurt because he was playing some good ball and having some high assist games, like you said. But, you know, guard is a position that we have honestly more of than I think that we need. So I think it's something that we'll be able to uh pull the weight that Fears was currently playing for the team.
Yeah, I don't want to minimize the importance of this because anytime a beloved teammate or just a teammate at all suffers something like this, a shooting, like he could have lost his life. That obviously is hugely impactful way beyond basketball. And I hope that everyone in this locker room feels okay. I hope they feel prepared to play this game. I'm sure Tom Izzo and staff have done as good of a job as they possibly can, keeping everybody good mentally and emotionally from this. And if Jeremy is back, that's fantastic just to be there, right? Even if he's not playing the rest of the season, if he's there physically in the flesh, that's incredible and would be a really special moment. With all of that said, as good as Jeremy Fears looked against Stony Brook, I don't think this is massively needle moving. And I think I sound like an asshole to say that, but like to me, this team was never hinging on Jeremy Fears in any way, shape, or form this season. Anything he gave you was a luxury. It was a benefit. It was great for the future. This team winning a championship in March entirely came down to what AJ Hoggard's doing. And I
Right.
get like if Hoggard was bad, then yeah, it's great that Jeremy Fears was coming on. But you still, even at their best, you were still hoping that the answer became AJ Hoggard. Now it just puts a little more pressure on him. You mentioned Robbie Avila. I'll give people a breakdown of his game for those that don't know his game. I'm a huge fan, as are you, but What should people expect that haven't seen Robbie Avila and all of a sudden they see this guy in goggles looking like Jokic out there?
I mean, for anyone who follows sleepers, go check my men's league highlights. That's, I mean, that's kind of who he plays like. But no, he's just. I actually first found out about him when he was heavily recruited by Loyola. Like Drew was pretty much on him, and he's like, "You got to check this kid out." And I always like giving kids a watch when I hear about them from Good Basketball Minds. So of course Drew brought him up. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go check this kid out. And the skill is crazy. Played for Mean Streets in high school, ends up committing to Indiana State, and he's just got the game and the skill is just crazy to me. I don't mean to like down. I don't mean to downplay any players on our team, but you know how like people came in, they're like, "Oh, Kohler is going to be like a baby Jokic." Like everyone wants to find like this baby Jokic type player, like a heavier set below the rim player. That's what Avila is. Like his game, he isn't Jokic, but his game is reminiscent of a Jokic type player. I don't think he's as generational a passer as Jokic is, but I think that he's a below the rim, strong, amazing footwork big that can stretch out and shoot the ball, can pass the ball a little bit, and also just finds a way to score around the basket, even though he is not what you would call, you know, explosive in any terms. But he's just a very fun basketball player to watch, and he's extremely skilled too.
Yeah, he's one of the best bigs in the country. That's my thing. Like the quirky nature to it is the fun part, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to this kid's game, he's just
That's a bad man. That no, actually, I'm looking in the camera right now, and I want if you're only looking at its audio, no, this is only gonna be on YouTube, isn't it? It is. I want to make this unequivocally clear. He might look like a goofball, but that is a bad, bad man.
yeah.
Let that be known.
Yeah, great player. I think he would start at center for at minimum 11 of 14 Big Ten teams. Maybe more.
Including the one that they're playing.
Yeah, maybe more than that too. That honestly might be a little unfair. Like I'm in my head, it's like, okay, Rutgers would probably start Cliff over him. Are we sure about that? Like
They probably would. Yeah, they would though.
only because they love defense. But like I'm if I'm Wisconsin, I'm starting Robbie Avila. If I'm Michigan, I'm certainly starting Robbie Avila.
Hey, at least Stephen Crowell alone.
Okay, all right, I'm just saying the kid's a really really talented player. Um, so all right, Michigan State's whole thing the last 2 weeks has been they turned a corner. Ever since that Baylor game, they looked like a totally different basketball team. Comfortable win against Oakland. Phenomenal, fantastic basketball win over Stony Brook on Big Ten Plus that nobody saw. Uh, it, is this for real? Like, is this team, even given all the fear stuff and just where they're at right now, do you think they actually turned a corner to the point that you expect the good version of Michigan State to show up in this game?
This game is the turn the corner game for me. This
Okay.
is this is it. If we find a way in this stretch based on, and obviously if we looked at this at the beginning of the season, we'd be like, that's a maybe harder than you think stretch, but it's not a turning point season stretch. With how the first part of non-conference in the season has played out, you put that together with this run that we're on right now, this 3-0 stretch we're on. This is a actual momentum turning point for me because I really do think that this Indiana State team is good.
I do too. In your heart of hearts, do you think Illinois State is better than James Madison?
Indiana State, do I think they're better than
Or
James
yeah,
Madison?
sorry. Indiana State, are they a better
I
basketball
I
team than James Madison?
I actually do. I actually do. I personally haven't been that impressed with James Madison, to be honest. I know a lot of people are pulling the whole, oh, told you so. James Madison's top 25 now. James Madison had a miracle game against Kent State, I believe it was, to pull that game out. And, it took overtime to beat us, and we had chances to win the basketball game. I'm not saying we should have, but I truly think that Indiana State is a more impressive basketball team to me than James Madison.
Okay. I think that's where I'm at too. I think this is the fourth hardest game you've played this season. Obviously, you had the tough ones with Baylor and Arizona and Duke. People would tell me, no, Wisconsin at home, that's a much better team than Indiana State. I think that's fair. I should have said non-conference. Indiana State to me is a very good basketball team. They're a team that should find their way to the NCAA tournament. They're a team that poses a serious problem for one of Michigan State's weaknesses, which in my opinion is center. Like if they just can't stop Avila, this game could be very, very complicated for Michigan State. So, all right, that leads us to our prediction card. KenPom has Michigan State 79-70 in this spot. What's your prediction?
Ooh. See, I don't think we're gonna get to 79. I think this is gonna be a nastier type game. Like as far as like just grittier. Um, I will take Michigan State to win 71 to 65.
Mm.
I think they play really good, really, really good defense in this game. And I know Indiana State's good. I don't know if you have the numbers on what they average offensively, but that might be the lowest they score all year.
They have a great offense, 33rd in the country. They are the number one field goal percentage, effective field goal percentage team in the country. They are third in 3-point shooting, sixth in 2-point shooting. Like this team's just efficient from everywhere. Okay, I have Michigan State winning. I think they win by double digits. That might not be a good thing for Michigan State fans to hear because I've typically been wrong on this team this year. But I have two main predictions in this game. I think this is an AJ Hoggard game. I think you get good AJ, if not great AJ. And I think you get at least one moment in this game where AJ has a big assist or something or a big finish. There's a timeout taken, and you get a close up of him on camera, and he's saying, I got y'all. I got us. Calm down. That's the AJ thing. I think this is a big, like, okay, veteran good AJ actually shows up and shows us the point guard's going to be fine, even without Jeremy Fears. Second prediction is this, Cart. I think this is a MSU big men game. I think this is the first time I have ever predicted this, but I will say it based on this. I was impressed with how Michigan State's big men showed up against Oakland. Oakland was a team that, in my opinion, is a good basketball team that throws gimmicky stuff at you. And don't get me wrong, Oakland is nowhere near the caliber of Indiana State. But I thought Mady Sissoko showed up to that game. He had 7 points and 8 rebounds in 19 minutes. You can live with that. I thought Carson Cooper showed up to that game. He had 7 points and 8 rebounds in 18 minutes. You can live with that. Xavier Booker didn't do much, but he did score 5 points in just 7 minutes. I don't know how much Xavier Booker is going to play in this game, but I know this. I think Michigan State's front court has shown up in big spots before. And this is a game where all they're going to hear about is how good Robbie Avila is. Robbie Avila is not stronger than Mady Sissoko. He's not more athletic than Carson Cooper. If those guys just show up defensively, if Robbie Avila doesn't get going offensively, I think this could get ugly in a good way for Michigan State. And that's my prediction of what's going to happen. I think Robbie Avila is going to be in hell. And I'm going to be texting you like, I can't believe Mady Sissoko has Robbie Avila in hell.
That text will never be sent to my phone. But Michigan State will win this basketball game.
You saw what they did to Trey Townsend, man. The whole talk was, oh, how good Trey Townsend is. Nobody can stop him. Like,
I thought Malik Hall did a good job on Trey Townsend.
You sent me a text that said we got Townsend in hell. That included Michigan State's bigs.
Me, myself, and Malik Hall had Trey Townsend in hell.
All right, we'll see what happens with Michigan State in this game. Good luck. Go green. Go white. We'll be back.
Can I get a woof? It's been a long time.
No, I don't think there's a woof right now. Woof only happens out of satirical, like sad, haha moments at you. Right now, you've been playing too good. You don't get a woof from me.
Okay. Woof.